Good morning and happy Monday, January 16th. So how are things going? Well, did you see last week? Unfortunately, this world lost Lisa Marie Presley, just 54 years old. She was the only surviving child of rock legend Elvis Presley. Other thing that happened is an individual by the name of Tom Dudley was being held captive by Russia, and he was released. He was a Navy veteran, and I guess at some point he just wandered into Russian territory on a hiking trip or something like that, and he was captured and held captive. So we're glad for him and his family that he's been released. And hey, what's going on with President Biden and these documents? Boy, they found him in his office. Now they found him in his garage, in his car, and I think they even said that they found him in rooms in his house. Ooh, boy. You know, they're going to have to treat him the same way that they treated President Trump, with special counsels and investigations. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if they did a raid on his house like they did on Mar-a-Lago for President Trump to see, because they really have to be careful here and treat everybody the same way. So let's get to today's topic. So hey, did you know that the average health insurance company on average makes a 3% profit a year? Well, for those of you who are business owners, you know an average of 3% profit a year is very, very tenuous. Most businesses want to look at things and say they have an average profit of about 20% a year. This allows for bad times. And let's take a look at the last 2 years, 2021, 22. Those have been bad years for a lot of businesses. Without an average 20% profit, a lot of these businesses have gone out of business. So spending on health care is growing every year. It's well over $4.1 trillion. And the gross national product for us is about 19.7% for health care. So here's a good rule of thumb. You should be spending about 10% of your income on health insurance premiums. Frightening, isn't it? Well, the Affordable Care Act came out with about 10%, and I think they bumped it down to about 9.5%. Some places I've seen it as low as 8.75% of your income. That's pretty presumptuous for a politician to sit there and say this is how you should be spending your money. So why are we talking about this? We're talking about this because the last few weeks I've been fielding a lot of phone calls from my clients with renewals in hand, and from people who aren't my clients just calling me up saying, Mark, is this correct? My premiums are going up. And of course the question is, why? Well, let me give you 4 reasons why. Number 1, inflation in the healthcare industry. We all want to have the best technology available to us when something goes wrong. We want the best personnel to take care of us when something goes wrong. There's inflation in the industry. It's just plain and simple. Number 2, there's an increase in claims going on right now. The previous couple of years, because of COVID, a lot of elective procedures weren't being done. In fact, many of you received a credit on your insurance premiums later in the year, and a lot of you even told me that the insurance company didn't even charge you the last 2, 3, 4 months out of the year. This is because the health insurance company has to spend 80 cents on the dollar for claims. If they're over that, well, it's their loss. If they're under that, they have to refund premiums back to you, and the best way of doing that is in not charging you premiums to get that back up to 80%. This is part of the Affordable Care Act. So now let's talk about minimum wage increase. It's gone from what, like $8.75 up to $15. That's a big increase. There's a lot of health care that's being provided by people working minimum wage. How can that be? Well, hey, just look at maybe people who file records, people who are janitors, people like this making minimum wage, so it's going to cost the provider more money because of salaries. And how do they get reimbursed by this? They have to charge more for services provided. More for services provided means the insurance companies are going to have more claims. Just follow the logic. More claims means they're going to have to charge more premiums. It's that simple. So when they're talking about minimum wage increase, and some politicians are saying no, some economists are saying no, there's actually a reason. And my number 4 reason that your costs are going up or your premiums are going up is you're actually making more money. Let's say last year you were making $45,000. Now you're going to be making $48,000. The credit is based upon your income. The more money you make, the less credit you get. So what's going on here is that the insurance companies have to raise their rates because costs are going up for them. Your salary is going up, which means you get less money. So you were kind of here, but now that disparity is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. That's what's going on in the industry, and I know you don't like it, and I know you're saying that's not fair, and I'm not going to disagree with you, but that's how the system is working. So hey, let's follow up on what I mentioned the opening of last week's video. McCarthy was elected Speaker of the House after 15 attempts. I'm so happy for him. He's got his lifelong dream, and you and I are going to have the misery of it. And here's the reason why I say that. Check on the internet. They're now talking about, because he was elected, a lot of concessions were made, and those concessions are going to be with Social Security and Medicaid. So those who are retired, those who are getting ready to retire, pay very, very close attention, because what you think you might have and what you have may not happen. Now, there's going to be a lot of debate going back and forth. It may not happen, but you know what? So one person can have the job of their dreams. The rest of us may be in a bad situation for that. So pay attention to that. And hey, what's going on here at the MLD agency? Well, I think I mentioned last week also that we've had an email problem. Well, that's coming to its conclusion. If you sent us emails and you didn't have a response, I apologize for that. A company by the name of Home Base Business, Incognito, I guess, was working with working through our emails to do whatever they were doing. And GoDaddy, who's been fantastic about it, yay, GoDaddy! They've worked with it, they've cleaned it up, but I may have missed some emails, from you. If I do, I apologize. Don't hesitate to give me a call at the bottom of the screen. I'm more than happy to talk to you, more than happy to figure out what's going on and work with you. And I apologize for that if I've missed an email from you. The other thing is we sold a couple of dental policies. We got a couple of Medicare supplements issued during the week. So everything's looking up here at the MLD agency for 2023. Hope it's looking up for you too. Until next week.